Om Namo Narayana. Very warm welcome to Sadhana on S3. I am your host Alisha Gaya-Prasad, here to keep you company for the next half an hour. To get the show on the road today, Sadhana travels around the country to bring to you significant happenings within the Hindu faith. We visit Estcourt and Ladysmith as we pick up on the Ramakrishna Centre of the Midlands region. Stopping for a stretch, you can retreat yourself with yoga techniques by Dr Ansuyah Moodley. With load shedding affecting so many of us, we see how the sun plays an important role in both spirituality and science. To conclude, stick to your seats as we showcase a wonderful musical piece. Sri Ramakrishna expresses, "The goal of human life is the realization of the ultimate reality, which alone can give man supreme fulfillment and everlasting peace. This is the essence of all religions." Driving through the misty and icy climate of Estcourt and Ladysmith, Sadhana became familiar with how the Ramakrishna Centre of South Africa has adapted to the virtual world with online satsang, where devotees have adjusted to the new normal and still continue the initiatives of the organisation.
The Ladysmith Sub-Centre is a branch centre of the Ramakrishna Centre of South Africa, which is affiliated to the Ramakrishna Mission, Belur Math, West Bengal, India. Our spiritual head and president is revered Swami Somanassanandaji Maharaj, who is based in Durban. One has to reflect at the backdrop of which the pandemic struck the world. It came with a lot of uncertainty, and with immediate effect, we were all placed into strict isolation. So this put this centre staring at a blank canvas of its spiritual journey. We are a rather busy centre with activities from Monday to Friday on a regular basis, not including the fasts and festivals that we observe. And suddenly, we were isolated. There was no communication between the members of the centre, the devotees, and absolutely no connection with the community. And this was something we had to look at closely. We were not prepared to stand and look at a blank canvas. So some of us got together and gave it some thought and decided that in keeping with Swami Vivekananda's teachings of forward thinking, proactive, and think out of the box, we had to make a plan. So we took the opportunity and started the digital programs.
The pandemic presented a major challenge to many of the organizations in Ladysmith who were not so technically inclined before the lockdown. However, we had to resort to other means in order to maintain the spiritual connection between our devotees and individuals in Ladysmith and beyond.
At the beginning of the decision to go online and digital and on the virtual platform, we engaged with revered Swami Somanassanandaji Maharaj, our president, and discussed the options. Maharaj was very enthusiastic and immediately gave us the go-ahead. To date back, the first podcast was on the 25th of March, which was the first day of Ramayan week in 2020. And that podcast was sent to us by revered Swamiji himself.
I think as a youth, we are naturally more inclined to technology, the use of our smartphones. We're often seen on Facebook and other social media. And that was one of the reasons why we chose Facebook Live, just because more youth could access it. And it's actually been greatly successful, as more than 60% of our devotees who join our programs are under the age of 35. So I think it was a natural fit and a nice way of moving and bringing spirituality and satsang into our youth of today. We seeked platforms that would involve as many individuals as possible. So that includes our young members of the community who have access to smartphones and internet, all the way to those who have limited data, and even extended to those who do not have data at all. So that was the impetus behind choosing a digital platform for our center, as well as we wanted something that would be easy to transition into, both for our members and for devotees.
Although Maharaj used to visit the centers regularly on a monthly basis, we could now be online, real time, collectively. All devotees that were on the program were connecting at the same time with the revered Maharaj. And that's what made it different from observing a satsang via another platform, for example, YouTube, because we all felt that divine connection. So henceforth, the Tuesday afternoons became a rush home from work, get prepared for satsang. All devotees would gather in their shrines and we would commence. So the atmosphere from the shrine, that is the ashrama here, was now taken directly into your home, so you could feel that spiritual nature of yourself and your inherent divinity, and you could feel the connection that other devotees had with the Holy Trio.
We have fortunately reached over 250,000 devotees across, believe it or not, all continents of the world, including countries such as Brazil, Qatar, Canada, Australia, and many others. I think as a youth of today, the Ramakrishna Center appeals to us because it's founded on the principles of Swami Vivekananda, who is so inspirational to youth. And this not only applies in South Africa, but around the world.
We are founded on the principle of the divinity of man in all. And if we see the spiritual nature as our inherent being, as I've mentioned before, at the time of such a calamity, it's this spiritual nature that offers pragmatic solutions to the current problem. And if we see God everywhere and believe in that, then the uncertainty and scariness and fear of this pandemic will not affect us. Estcourt Satsang Group is an integral part of the Northern KwaZulu-Natal sub-centers and satsang groups. So we have the Estcourt Satsang Group, the Newcastle Sub-Centre, the Dundee Sub-Centre, the Glencoe Satsang Group. With Estcourt Satsang Group, we have one of our devotees, Mr. Rajesh Premchand, who is a keen musician, and he, from the day of commencement, together with our own devotees in Ladysmith, were the first to do the inaugural satsang with their singing and bhajans and musical instruments.
Well, thanks to technology, we are doing what we're doing today. Due to the fact of COVID-19, we are not going to mandirs. However, we are in the comfort of our own homes. We are having satsangs via Zoom, the platform. All I do is I log into the Zoom platform with our codes, and then we have a program to follow. I would either start off by doing the opening prayer and the bhajan, or I may somewhere along the line speak after Maharaj's talk, discourse, or the closing as well. So we'll all link to the system, and whenever it's our turn, we just perform. The bhajan I'm going to sing today is Ramakrishna Sharanam. Is a dedication to Guru, Shri Ramakrishna, Holy Master, in praise of him. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Prabhu Kripa Hi Kevalam, Sharanye. Basically, a Guru is your thread to God. He is the one that takes you to God. Very important in everybody's life that you must have a Guru in order to reach God. I grew up in the center for many years. I became a musician. I was playing tabla, and as time went by, I started taking part in the rallies, the cultural festivals in KwaZulu-Natal, and then I've got more experience in my music playing and more familiar with all the people of the center, all the devotees, the swamis, the maharajas, and And until came a stage where I was nominated as the chairman of the center, and I took over, like now 25 years or so, I'm the chairman of the Estcourt playing tabla. And then as I moved on, I started to do harmonium and I started singing. I also belonged to a local band, playing different kinds of music, which also gave me more experience. And yeah, here I am today with my son. He's a tabla player, accomplished tabla player, and he accompanies me to all my satsangs. And I think we have a good team going. My mom also sings, my daughters play manjira, my wife also sings, so we have a good family musical background.
Welcome back to Sadhana on S3. Yoga is discussed in the ancient foundational sutras of Hindu philosophy. According to researcher Johannes Bronkhorst, Vaisesika Sutra describes yoga as a state where the mind resides only in the soul and therefore not in the senses. Yoga graduate Dr Ansuyah Moodley demonstrates a sitting posture to improve your yoga techniques. Take a look.
So in today's yoga session, we're going to perform asanas that are going to assist in the agility of the body, but in particular to bring down the levels of anxiety as well as those suffering from high blood pressure. So let's get started. Very gently, you are in Sukhasana position. Let's just take a deep breath in with Shin Mudra, breathing through nostrils, and exhale. Very gently, we're going to move out from Sukhasana position, allow for the right foot to be close to perineum, and very gently take the left foot and place it on the right-hand side of the right knee. Allow for that left foot to be flat on your mat, knee of the right leg on the ground. Very gently interlock the fingers and place them around the left kneecap. Adjust your position so that the right foot is also on the ground. Make sure that the head, neck, and spine is nice and straight. Allow for the elbows to be parallel to the ground. And make the necessary adjustments with your cupped palms to ensure that you bring up the knee of the left foot so that it is close to the body. Take a deep breath in. Eyes closed for greater awareness, smile on your face, enjoy the practice. And as you exhale through the nostrils, make sure that the exhalation is twice as long as the inhalation. And exhale. Very gently take the right hand, allow for it to go in through the triangle that you formed with your foot and hold on to that left knee. Take the left hand, the back of the palm, allow it to be placed at the back in the region of the waist. Make sure head, neck, and spine is nice and straight. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, a beautiful twist to the left-hand side. Very gentle. Continue with your rotation as far as your body can allow. And remember, as you continue to do this practice, your rotation will get deeper and deeper. This is very good for a spinal twist. You'll also feel constriction of all of the abdominal organs, like the spleen and the pancreas and the gallbladder. Hence, very good for diabetes. Energization of the pancreas. Very gently release. Come out of this position. You're back into Sukhasana. This time allow for the left foot to come close to perineum. Take the right foot and place it on the left-hand side of the left knee. Allow for the foot to be flat on the ground. The left foot also on the ground. Interlock the fingers and very gently cup the right knee. Make your adjustments Make sure that the elbows are parallel to the ground, head, neck, and spine nice and straight, chin parallel to the ground. Eyes closed for greater awareness. Smile on the face. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils. Very gently take the left hand. Allow for it to go through the triangle you formed with your foot. Hold on to that right knee. The right hand, the back of the palm, place it behind you in the region of the waist. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, a gentle rotation from the waist all the way upward to the right-hand side. Twist as far as you can. Again, feeling a compression of all the organs in the region of the diaphragm or the abdomen. A very powerful energization technique. And very gently come back to neutral position. Go back into Sukhasana. Chin Mudra. Head, neck, and spine nice and straight, chin parallel to ground, smile on the face, eyes closed. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils. And exhale.
Throughout the history of different cultures, people have often used the words power and energy to describe their experience of God. Today, many Hindu people continue the ancient practice of worshipping the sun. The sun is also an essential source of energy for the life-giving processes of our planet. Sadhana chatted to Dr. Praveen Semnarayan on how he used this source of energy as an inspiration to produce a tangible change in helping meet our country's energy needs.
The reason why I love Sadhguru and his teachings and the Isha Foundation, it's a very logical approach to living. You live in terms of connecting to society, teaches you, to manage your problems in a very logical manner. So the activities are spiritual teachings, so largely yoga-based in terms of the physical, the emotional connection, the spiritual connection to others. Huge amount of work that goes into the community in terms of his programs, and so I follow Sadhguru's teachings very, very, very closely. I'm lucky from that aspect, to be initiated, followed the inner engineering program, did that, and that's my practice currently. I'm a scientist, I'm a chemical engineer, and I've also got a doctorate in business science. So using that experience, and I have a lot of experience in corporate before I went into my own business. So my mission is, and our mission is, to use science and engineering to better society. We have our own foundation as well. So we do a lot of work ourselves in terms of uplifting the township areas with schools, and recently through a Momentous Foundation we built an early childhood development center. In this area there were no schools for kids that are 5 to 6 years old, and we intervene and we build this and we manage it and support it and operationalize it. So 2010, we were sitting with crisis in South Africa, and we could see that you almost had to look forward and say, going forward, where is this space? What's the industry going to look like? And renewable energy and solar technology was getting there. It was not there at that point, but I could see, you almost have a vision to say what's going to happen going forward. The old ways of doing energy production and supply is gone, and the world is moved to these renewable sources. Through this process, you can reduce climate change, you can get people to jobs, improve communities. So there's huge economic and social benefit in terms of this, looking at the sun, how we use the sun to provide power for us. So we created Momentous Energy in 2010 already. And as more and more people have taken up solar energy, the costs have come down. For the man on the street, solar is cheaper. Couple that with cheaper energy storage, specifically battery technologies, lithium ion, for example. They are sustainable resources that you can use. So look after those resources, and then it becomes sustainable. You get more and more of it. Sadhguru always says, you have immense power. So you can just have to imagine yourself how much of power you have as a person. The impact you can have. But first start with yourself, and start with your family, and see how much influence you can really have. So the more you believe that, the bigger impact that you can make to society.
Swami Vivekananda states, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. Music is educational. Music communicates emotion, thoughts, and inspiration, transcending race, religion, and culture, playing an integral role in the spiritual and emotional well-being of our lives. Having said that, sit back and enjoy the melodious bhajan performed by Mr. Rajesh Premchand. Do enjoy. From the Sadhana team, keep shining your beautiful divine light into the world. Namaste.
Ramakrishna Sharanam Prabhu Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Sharanam Prabhu Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Sharanam Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namo Namah. Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namo Namah. Namo Narayana, Namo Narayana, Namo Narayana Sharanye. Namo Narayana, Namo Narayana, Namo Narayana Sharanye. Tava Sharanagato Ham, Sharanagato Ham, Sharanagato Ham Sharanye. Tava Sharanagato